The second episode of Futurama's new series, entitled Children of a Lesser Bog, has now been released. Before starting it, I decided to watch its precursor, Kif Gets Knocked Up a Notch, Season 5, Episode 5. This, surprisingly enough, was actually a mistake. It meant I could essentially see a direct comparison between the two episodes, which could arguably be helpful, but it also meant that I went in expecting the new one to meet the first's exceptionally high standards. Before I go deeper into the review, I'll give a brief recap. All the way back in 2003, Zap's idiocy led to Kif getting pregnant. Kif's species mates by simple physical contact during an arousal state, so when his glove came off and he was forced to touch the whole crew, they had to do a maternity test. Leela was the mother. However, Amy caused the arousal state, so they still viewed her as the real mother. Kif gives birth to tadpole-like creatures, and says they'll crawl back on land in 20 years. I'll quickly bring up, and maybe I'm just thick, but I'm kind of confused by the timeline of things now. Because of the previous episode in Series 11, I was under the impression that everyone was the same age that they were at the end of Season 10, but with everything being frozen, they had travelled to the year 3023. Doesn't this make the tadpoles only 10 years old? Then again, Apu's kids grew up while Bart remained at 10 years old, so maybe it's a bit of cartoon logic. Anyway, in Children of a Lesser Bog, Amy checks her diary, the same way she did before, and there's a reminder on there of her due date. They return to the swamp for 3 of their children to survive. Amy, Kif and the kids spend some family time together, but then Kif is called up on a mission. Unable to take care of the kids alone, Amy gets Leela to babysit, but then becomes jealous that they're falling in love with their biological mum more. To make matters worse, the Grand Midwife returns to tell Amy that she cannot be their parent if she doesn't pass a challenge. It was an interesting premise for an episode, and in my opinion, kind of a necessary one, given the passing of 20 years in real life. It was great to see some recurring characters, including Amy's parents, the whale biologist, and none other than Zap Brannigan. There were some funny moments, but as I've mentioned, it did feel a bit underwhelming after seeing the precursor, as Season 5 is quite possibly the best season of all. This, along with the fact that there's a significant recap, means I'd suggest just jumping straight into the episode if you do watch it. In relation to this, I found it strange that Leela didn't remember that they were her kids. To me, it felt less authentic and more like a plot device. She was initially so intent on protecting her DNA when getting it to the swamp, but now she's forgotten it exists? In addition, the other characters felt the same but different. Taking Zap, for example, one of my favourite characters. He clearly had the same obnoxiousness and stupidity, but something felt off. It felt like there was somehow less humour in it, maybe? It's hard to put my finger on it. Despite my negativity, I did enjoy the episode, minus the lengthy recap. It felt like there was a bit of social commentary subtext about whether being biologically related is important, but I think they do it well, as it's not overbearing. In addition, the ending is lovely, and exactly what I'd expect from Futurama, so give it a watch yourself. As an aside, with the episode centering around motherhood, it was arguably more catered to a more female audience this time. My question is, do girls watch Futurama? That sounds strange, but looking at the statistics from my previous review, the answer's no. This is absolutely insane to me, but who knows? It could just be the YouTube algorithm doing weird things again. So what's my verdict? I did enjoy this episode, and believe it was better than the previous one in the series. I'd highly recommend watching it, but as I said last week, if you haven't seen Futurama before, definitely don't jump in here. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and make sure to check out my shorts page, as I've started to create original animated sketches, and over the coming weeks, there should be a new one every 2 days. And see you next week for episode 3.